Yo, is the music playing?
I don't know. Where am I?
It is playing, isn't it?
No, I'm not hearing anything.
Okay, good. I just came in. I could when I popped in, the music was playing in my ears loudly.
It
I'm
says
like,
starting
what's
soon,
going
but
on?
are we on?
We're on now. I
Oh, I'm
think
full on
finally.
with my computer and everything.
Oh, I've got a headache already. Came home from work, and yeah, so here we are. I raced up here, and I couldn't get it to work. What a
Oh,
pain in the butt. So anyway, we're finally here. I might edit this video because it didn't even upload the thumbnail and stuff.
oh, it didn't?
And I didn't practice. So this is we're gonna see my skills
Oh, good.
by what I'm gonna do and how well I'm gonna be able to do it. But you have to take your lovely wife or pick her up from the airport tonight.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we get this going. I won't be able to do Friday because Calvary Chapel Malibu is having our Christmas party.
Okay.
I just realized. So we could do something. That's the 20th, maybe the 23rd if you have time.
Yeah, I got time.
We'll see.
All right.
There's it's Christmas shopping and stuff. I have stuff to do.
There you
But
go.
Advent season. So the perfect. I think we should have started with the song we're doing today because it's
Okay,
one of
let's
my
do that then.
Well, we already did. We already did All Holy Night. So
No, come on, come Emmanuel.
that's what we're doing today.
Oh, okay.
So come, unless you had other plans, because that was my understanding.
Oh, you mean you would have done like a musical Holy Night again?
No. I would have started the first because whenever Advent season starts, Oh Come Emmanuel is the first song
Yeah, right.
that I end up playing.
Right.
Because I have that on the first because that's about as good as it gets for an Advent song, I think.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's the tradition is that you don't play Christmas carols until Christmas, and so there's always been a big the Roman Catholic Church, Lutheran Church, Protestant churches. Now that's pretty much. I don't know about the Roman Catholics, but for most other Protestants, it's pretty much gone down the wayside. They still play Christmas carols during Christmas season.
Well, we
Because we
did.
call it Christmas season. Yeah, that's because I wasn't a stringent liturgical guy or whatever. But the point would be, you start on Christmas, you go 12 days after. That's the real Christmas. That's Christmas. That's when we're going to celebrate Christmas. It's kind of like Easter gets ripped off, right? Like Easter is huge. Did you know? Well, did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Up until, I would say, the latter part of the 1800s, Easter was always in Christian circle. It was always the biggest, hugest celebration, not Christmas. Even in like gifts and everything else. So it was Easter because Easter is the most important holiday, the resurrection of our Lord. And then, we kind of got caught up in the Christmas stuff to make Christmas more, to make it more important. And there's always the idea of the commercialization, meaning buying gifts and all that. But people are buying gifts at Easter time too. But it's like, so this is why Advent was considered. This is the time we prepare for the coming of Jesus and all that. And then we still have there's still signs of that. That's why we have the 12 days of Christmas. The song and all that. So I used to.
We're not doing that one, I hope.
No, but there's a couple. There's 23 birds, by the way. And if you get asked that for a trivia
That
question,
is a song. What would you have done
trivia
to
question.
me?
23 birds.
Okay, 23 birds, partridges. I know there's a partridge in a pear tree.
No, I just saying that's used in trivia stuff once in a while. I'm just
Oh, that's
I'm
the number
helping
of birds. That's the number of birds
all,
in the
total.
song.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay,
just helping
but
everybody else out.
Imagine if I did. I thought you wanted me to count them, or like
No,
was
no,
true
no,
or
no.
false.
Not now. Yeah.
23, a magic number. Well, rather it's not magic number.
Well, it's just
it's
in
Michael
case somebody
Jordan number.
in case somebody out there is playing trivia out at a bar someplace and they ask that question.
But I'm wondering what you
At
would have
least you'll
done if
get
I
that
said, okay, everybody, we're going to do, I'm
movie.
led to do 12, the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah, that's okay.
And then about 25 minutes later, you're like, Rob, maybe, and everyone's standing up too.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll make them stand up. Everyone must stand up.
But that's it. That's why.
5 golden
Yeah, that's right.
rings. Oh,
That's why. Or you'll have the what is it? The days of Polish Christmas. Oh, Veggie Tales.
is that a joke? Okay.
No, it's
I
Veggie
don't-
Tales.
I thought
On
there
the
was a joke
first
there.
day of Polish Christmas. It's about the foods of Christmas. Forget it. Your kid is too young. My children were not too young.
My kid's not too
I
young
memorized,
now. He's too old, you mean, right?
No, he was too young to. Well, no, he wasn't even born.
I wasn't even, he wasn't born,
He
and
wasn't
I wasn't even
born.
a Christian, and if
Right.
he was, yeah.
The
we would
Veggie
be-
Tales Christmas album was played in my car for like 4 years.
I love that. though.
Because
On
it
the-
was Christina first and then the boys. And it was like every time we were listening to that.
I would think that it was the 12 days of Christmas, if it was the 12 days of Polish Christmas, and it would be like they'd continue to get worse and worse because, I don't know, like I'm speculating, they would get drunker and drunker as the
No. It was
as the days went on, and it would be how many. The story of the song is how many Polish people would it take to screw in a light bulb? So on the first day
it
of
wasn't.
Christmas,
It had nothing to do with the Oscar,
my
the
Polish friend could,
Oscar, the Polish chef, Polish
It'd be-
caterer, catered the Veggie Tales Christmas party, and he came late. And then he sang. It was a funny song because every time he'd say, 5 kielbasa, and so every time he sang something, it's about meat. Well, that's dough wrapped in meat, or meat wrapped in dough, and that's bell pepper with meat inside. And it was the big joke was you have meat and everything.
So
Anyway,
your
never mind.
Your kids loved it.
Oh yeah, I listened to it today. I'm getting
did
the
you really?
grandchildren to or recycling it again. So
Okay,
it's fun.
yeah, AJ never got that. There was a little bit of Veggie Tales because some people.
Yeah, no, that was
Gave
that
him
was
that for Christmas and-
1998, I think, when it came out. So he would,
Yeah, but they were on DVD back in the day.
yeah. So that was fun. All right, let's talk about. Let's finish up on Advent because I got a few things that are be pretty interesting, pretty fun,
Sure, come on.
and then we'll get. All right, so let's take a look at. Let's see, what's the most fun? Well, first of all, we'll talk about we have Advent, and St. Nicholas Day was a day for gift giving early on. Okay, and St. Nicholas is from like the 4th century, the 300s, and he's the patron saint, of a lot of different things,
4th century was a time period
including
from 301.
giving gifts and so forth.
This is from Wikipedia.
Oh wait, I got my watch is telling me. Be
I
quiet.
thought you were
watch.
chat GPTing here and you were totally going to lose your
that was
cred.
that was my what? No, that was my watch. The heck are you doing, watch?
Did you get this from Wikipedia? There's going to be so many haters.
No.
now.
I don't use Wikipedia.
Well, we got Smoked Zombie here. I don't know who that guy is. And then Blessed Bible Fight Club. Secret, they're the same guy. And then we got Bond
Shut up
here.
and straighten out. Yeah, Rob.
Merry
At
Christmas.
your age. All right.
Exactly
So
right.
So St. Nicholas, this is where we get the gift giving and so forth. And he was St. Nicholas. I kind of like the guy. He was a bishop, and the bishop's outfit is scarlet, and he is and he's got a bishop's hat, a red hat, and all that. And so he's kind of like the earliest viewpoint for quote Santa Claus. Okay, so the gift giving started there, and they were giving. And Christians did this. They celebrated Christmas mainly on his day. That's when the gift giving was, and so that's December 6th. And so he would, like I say, he was in the 300s, and he's a pretty interesting guy for a lot of reasons. Oh, one of them, hey everybody, the woke radio like this. He is a person of color, and so if you take a look at the undoubtedly you'd think that because it's
The white people stole Santa Claus.
No. I'll talk about Santa Claus later.
The white
Okay,
people
so
stole.
he is he's really cool because he helped out poor people. In particular, the thing that he was known for in that day, the girls, the daughters of poor people, they had dowries in those days. Well, if you're a poor young woman, you can't have a dowry. So what do? You don't get married. And what do you do if you're not married? You're a prostitute. So he's the patron saint of prostitutes, which is interesting. But he would. So what here? The story is that he would take bags of money.
Saint Nick is the patron saint
Yeah.
of prostitutes.
Prostitutes, pawnbrokers.
I don't think I've ever heard that before. Maybe you taught it a long time ago.
But we got it. We got his. He would take in secret. He would take bags of money, which in those days was probably gold or whatever, and then he would bring them to these homes secretly. Sometimes he'd throw them through the window. I don't think he dropped them in the chimney, but he threw them through the window or he left them on the doorstep.
They light on fire.
Yeah.
Couldn't get their money.
Well, I'm just saying the Santa Claus thing later. Okay, so then he would give these gifts, and then so these girls got a chance to be married and all that. And he also did a lot of other really cool things for the poor. And those little sacks, this is where this is all coming from. The sacks of toys and everything. But these sacks were thrown in, and if you've ever been to a pawn shop or seen a pawn shop, you'll notice it's really weird because there's little sacks, 3 little sacks hanging from the pawn shop. Well, that's because he's the patron saint of pawnbrokers. That's been around for centuries.
Oh, same thing. Pawnbrokers and prostitutes are the same.
But my favorite Saint Nicholas story is, the Nicene Creed, the whole church of, this is why we have, the Trinity is finally described well enough, to be used as a creed for the Christian church. Well, in the Council of Nicaea, this is in the 300s, the big opposition to that would be Arius, and Arius was he's considered a heretic, it's because he said that Jesus wasn't always Jesus. He said that God created Jesus, and so Jesus was subordinate to God in that way. Okay, and so that was the big controversy. Well, here's the legend. The legend was Saint Nicholas. Oh, here we go again, the laughs. Okay, don't laugh at your own joke.
I don't know what you're laughing at yet.
I know,
Yeah.
just get ready.
You got to say the joke first.
Just like yesterday, I'm my own greatest comedian. All right, so during the big, here they are, they come from all over the Christian world, and he comes in and he slaps Arius across the face. So you'll
Saint
find
Nick.
you'll find old like I'm talking really old pictures, like icon types, where he's slapping Arius. Back off, Arius. So anyway, so now fast forward, and Martin Luther. Go figure. Remember we talked about December 24th, that area, summer or winter solstice, but the actual focusing at Christmas and making it a big deal for gift giving and all that. Martin Luther is the one who brought Christmas into what we modernly have, because what he did was he didn't like the emphasis on gift giving on St. Nicholas Day. Because he would, in his way, he'd say that's popish, Mm-hmm. And so he changed it himself, and he said, we're not going to, let's have the biggest focus and emphasis be Christmas. And so he is the one who introduced Christkindl, which we call him Kris Kringle. That's where we got that. That's from Luther. And Christkindl was the Christ child coming and bringing gifts on Christmas.
Wow.
And that's where that comes from. And it was for kids. So all of us adults, that wasn't meant for us. So wouldn't that
So
been
we're
nice?
not meant to have presents?
You didn't have to worry about what you got to get Marie anymore. Yeah, just the kids. Yeah, so that's how Luther started that. And that's how that became all over Christendom then. That changed it. And then in particular, like in Germany and other Germanic, Austria and places like that, they would still celebrate St. Nicholas Day and give gifts, but it wasn't a big deal anymore. But then Christmas was the big celebration. And Luther also wrote Christmas carols. So he's one of the earliest people to write Christmas carols. And another thing that Luther did is he is the guy who invented, well, I don't know what term you want to use. He popularized the Christmas tree. He's the first. This is why we have Christmas trees, ultimately because of him, the way that we have them. Now remember, Martin Luther is the biggest, largest, Middle Ages, he's the biggest guy, larger than life. And so anything he did would be like, ooh, this is a big deal. Christmas trees. So the story goes that he was outside and he was looking through the pine trees, outside his home and all that, and there were stars sparkling in the sky, kind of sparkling, that stars do. And so he says, so he brought an evergreen tree, a pine tree, into his home, and he put candles on it for Christmas, and that's where it started. That's how it all started with Luther, and he was really big on children and Christmas, and so that's where they would have these big Christmas celebrations with his kids. He had a lot of kids, and then other people, and then that got influenced, all the way through in other parts in Europe and all that.
I remember you telling that story before, but the only vision that I could get about it, and it was scary vision.
Yeah,
was,
it's going to start.
How could you put candles on
they
a
still
fir
do
tree?
It. They still do it, by the way.
How do you do it? Very carefully, obviously.
Yeah, carefully.
But in your house?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they did.
You got to blow out all the candles before you go to sleep.
And so I mentioned Prince Albert yesterday. Well, the reason I mentioned that is because Christmas trees still didn't become real popular. They didn't have Christmas trees in England, and they didn't have them in. They had them in the Germanic type countries, right? They didn't have them in the United States. Okay, so then what happened? The reason why it's become such a big deal was Prince Albert he was in Germany. He had some German ancestry, and this is Queen Victoria's husband, and he was so enthralled by the Christmas trees in Germany because he had went to visit. He brought that custom to England. So they finally, this is in the latter part of the 1800s, they finally got Christmas trees. And then that went to the United States and everywhere. So that's a big deal there. So Prince Albert, you can thank him for being the modern guy who really got Christmas trees going and the celebration going. Because in England prior to that, they outlawed Christmas for a bit of time with Oliver Cromwell, during the Protestant Reformation in England. Okay, and they banned Christmas trees in England, or excuse me, not Christmas trees, Christmas itself to be celebrated, because what was happening is, again, too much drinking, too much carousing, and all that. And so they said no more.
A Jeremiah, I forget what verse it is, an idol, and bring it into their homes, fashioning it out of wood.
There you go.
We talked about that sort of, I think, before.
So they were banned. Christmas trees were banned, or not Christmas trees. Christmas was banned in England. It was like 17 years or something. It wasn't that long. But the same thing then happened with the Puritans. And in the United States, they outlawed it. In Massachusetts, it was about 20 years. And here's the problem. The problem was that people were just too getting drunk. And I mean, in the United States, there was a lot of promiscuity, a lot of unwanted pregnancies, people having to get married. I'm serious. It was just like whoa, what's up? We always thought the Puritans, or the colonists they weren't always pure.
So it was the first prohibition before the prohibition. It was Christmas.
Yeah, so Christmas has not been outlawed, since then, except for, 2020, 2021 with COVID. They took that away. You can't celebrate Christmas in churches and stuff like that, at least in our, most of our states.
Well, yeah.
It's not
we still celebrated Christmas. You just couldn't get together.
No, you couldn't get it. Yeah,
but if you got together, I know.
Yeah, you could.
And I know people that were said on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving in 2020, they go, we're not going to follow these rules.
Yeah.
And then two of them died.
Yeah, well, that's
everyone got sick.
Well, we got the data for this now. It's all been done.
I'm just saying it's
all been done. It wasn't a
story
problem. Yeah, right. I mean, because people were dying. They weren't dying of COVID by itself. They were dying of other things. Yeah, I mean,
one of them was 38, and he didn't have any comorbidities.
Right. There's always exceptions. The data was in now for all of that stuff. We didn't need to do it. But my point was, those are the time. Well, absolutely, we didn't need to do it in our country. But England, God bless you. In England, most of the churches in England, had same kind of, really strict laws, but they always allowed worship in the churches. So the English was smarter. And the Swedes, baby, they didn't have the mandates at all. And
All right. Well, we're talking a lot, or you're talking a lot.
Yeah, this is my
We're
advent.
going to need to focus on.
All right, now let's go. Now, so from then on,
Because you got to pick up your wife pretty soon.
I know that's the Advent stuff. So go back to the O Come Emmanuel. It's based on the O antiphons. Antiphons mean antiphon in Greek. Anti means other group, and then phon means voice. So it's voices, competing voices, and that's what the monks did when they would sing. They would chant, and they chanted these antiphons, and they're called the O antiphons because they start with O. And I've got them right here. We're in the O antiphons right now because it's the 7 days before Christmas, and so it started yesterday, on December 17th. It was O wisdom yesterday, and today it's O Adonai, or O Lord, O leader.
So they
of
change
Israel.
the words of the song every time, like "O come,
Yeah. O Come Emmanuel is actually the last verse of the O antiphons.
Wow.
But it's used in the song.
You want to
because-
talk more about that because you're giving the origin before we play the song. But is that unless that was your
No, go ahead.
introduction?
Why don't you play it? and
Unless
then
that was your introduction, because
That is my introduction.
I don't want to close on the.
No, that's the introduction. So yeah, so
you got more to say.
later. I'll explain what happens then. I'm just saying
do
this
that.
is where it came from.
I think that's amazing. I had never heard that before.
It's been around since 6th century.
Where?
Italy.
In-
6th century
in-
Italy.
In what church do they do this? The antiphons?
They do it in the Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church, Lutheran Church, Protestant churches.
So they'll sing this song, but with a different
Yeah.
verse.
Well, they didn't have this tune, or whatever you call that. Is it called a tune? I don't know.
That works.
They didn't have the music. They didn't have the music that we sing until like the 1800s, because that's when a guy, a hymn writer, put that tune in. But they've been singing these words. O antiphon has been in worships, Roman Catholic worship since the 6th century.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's sing it. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
I'm going to do it very methodically. I love this song a lot too. It's not "O Holy Night" for me, but
There you
it
go.
is the ringing in. And I'll remove you so you can sing all you want, PD. It is the bringing in of at any church. I've just been leading worship at 2. That I love to introduce the song on the first day of Advent, where we're there at church, bringing in that Advent season where we think about those who are waiting for the coming of the Messiah, and then it's added to us, for us who know how the story ends. We're waiting for the return, coming again of the Messiah, who already came once, but he rose and he is seated at the right hand of the Father until the time that they decide to make all things new. This is O Come Emmanuel. O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lowly exile here, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O come, strong branch of Jesse, free your own from Satan's tyranny. From depths of hell your people saved, and give them victory o'er the grave. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O come thou day spring, come and cheer our spirits by thine advent here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Oh, rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O
All right.
Yeah, what I like about that, this hymn itself, I was thinking about this as I was driving home. When I would hear this song, and it was a beautiful song, I thought, even before I was a Christian, the inclusion of the word Israel, for me, was, well, it's coincidental. It just so happens that Israel is relevant to Christians as well as to Jews. But I never really realized until I read the Bible for the first time as a Jewish person, the New Testament in particular, that it's the same Israel referenced. It's a commonality. It's not a coincidence that when O Come Emmanuel, the hymn speaks of Israel, it is speaking of the very same Israel of the Jews that is relevant to me. And the fact of the matter is that Jesus is the Messiah who's promised in the Old Testament, and we didn't miss him. Well, many unfortunately have, that are celebrating and waiting for a Messiah, a false Messiah, I guess, a Messiah who will never come. He came. So I just wanted to throw that as an aside.
That's
I was
good.
thinking about
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
So the antiphons, okay, here's what happens with those. They're the song that you sang, all right, and that's probably from a hymnal or
Yeah, I think so.
songbook or whatever. This opposite voice, so you got these monks singing this and these are that, but there's actually the antiphons are 7, and Emmanuel, O Come Emmanuel is the last one. So the antiphons are some of them are in those verses. I mean, I can read them. We got okay. So
As long
December
as you
7th.
got time, man.
Oh no, I've got time. No, her plane is coming in. I got plenty of time.
If you had a means to share your screen too, but I don't know if we've
Oh, I
never
just got
done that
this.
before.
I've just got this. This is the Celtic Daily Prayer book. I like to use that. It gives you a lot of.
Fancy and looks heavy.
Yeah, it's very heavy. It's so here. So for the 17th, it was, O come, thou wisdom from above, the universe sustaining with thy love. Thou springest forth from the Almighty's mouth, subdue us now and lead us in the truth, in thy truth. So it's talking about wisdom. Jesus brings wisdom, right? Then the next, and then there's always the chorus, rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Then the second, that's today, it's called the Adonai. And that's, O come, Adonai is another name for God in the Old Testament. O come, thou Lord of might, who to thy tribes in Sinai's height, in ancient times didst give the law, in cloud and majesty and awe. So that's what you sang, okay? And then you sang the next one too. That's the stock of Jesse, meaning he is from David. He's from the tree of Jesse, okay, who was David's father. O come, thou rod of Jesse, free thine own from Satan's tyranny. From depths of hell thy people save, and give them victory o'er the grave. Then rejoice, rejoice. Then tomorrow it's going to be David himself. So you got the root of Jesse, right? Remember from the Old Testament? And now you got David himself. O come, thou key of David, come, and open wide our heavenly home. Make safe the way that leads on high, and close the path to misery. And then chorus. Then on the 21st, it will be the rising sun, or the day spring. Again, from Isaiah, right? We'll be studying that. O come, thou day spring, come and cheer our spirits by thine advent here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. Then we have King, Jesus as the King. And that verse is, O come, excuse me, yeah, okay. So he's the King of all, not just the Jewish people, not just the Christians. He's the King of all. O come, desire of nations, bind all peoples in one heart and mind. Bid the strife and quarrels cease. So we got one of those, stop war things again. Fill all the world with heaven's peace. So there we have the nations, not just us. And then the final one then is Emmanuel, and that's O come Emmanuel, ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile.
That's sung on Christmas Day itself usually?
No, that's the 23rd. So we go from the 19th to the 23rd. Those are the O antiphons. So if you're worshiping, y'all in England, whoever's in England, I know you got some English people. But if you're worshiping there, some of your Anglican churches may have daily worship. And if they did, they're doing the O antiphons now. If you're in a Roman Catholic church, they have daily mass. You're doing the O antiphons during your daily mass. And so it's kind of getting us ready for Christmas. And it's such a beautiful song that you're right. If you say, what song do you remember from Advent, right? That's the one. That's the one.
Well, because it mentions Advent in one of the verses
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
yeah. But it has a haunting lilt to it.
What is the
That's what I would
word?
say.
The word Advent means it
Coming,
means something
come,
that's coming.
to come, yeah.
And so,
Or arrival.
yeah. Can you think of any other worship songs that have the word Advent in it?
Oh yeah, well there's Advent
verse
song,
nine.
like actually Advent hymns, but you would never sing it. They're not popular, like contemporary Christian. They don't.
Where
they don't
people are
sing.
going to know them?
They don't sing. Yeah. The Advent
can
of our.
Can you
the
give
Advent,
me an Advent hymn like other
Yeah,
than
I
O Come
can.
Emmanuel?
The Advent of our God would be one, and another very popular would be "Fling Wide the Gates."
I think I've heard
because
that one.
That's connecting Advent to Jesus' coming in on Palm Sunday.
I have a Lutheran hymnal. It's the index here is just horrible. I can't figure out. I wanted to be able to see what the words were in the Lutheran hymnal, and
Yeah, the
should've
Advent
done
of
it
our God
beforehand.
has one that has that right in its title. But there's several. Yeah, there's several hymns that you would sing during Advent. Like I say, "Fling Wide the Gates." On the banks of Jordan, the Baptist cries. It's about John the Baptist because at the beginning of Advent, the story of John the Baptist is, part of the liturgy, the lectionary for that time. So we're always talking about John the Baptist early on in Advent.
Did you understand what I was saying when I was talking about as from a totally naive perspective of not understanding Christian theology?
Well, yeah,
And simply
what's
viewing
helpful.
Christianity as like an enemy of Israel or an enemy of Judaism.
No. That's why it's helpful. Well, what's helpful for us is to recognize that the Christianity comes. This is God's restoration. Okay, His rescue and restoration, right? And so you can't really. You can't understand Jesus in the New Testament, unless you know the Old Testament, because all of those prophecies and just it's a progress. We're making progress. God is moving in history and in real history. This is our claim is He's moving in actual history. This is not like a myth and story, fairy tale or something like that, right? And Israel is central in there. It's central for Christians today to know that we come out of Judaism from Abraham on. I mean, this is where it began, and then the law was given to Moses and so forth, and Jesus comes out of Judaism too. I mean, it the idea here would be Judaism would have been destroyed. It's gone, except for the rabbinic, the rabbinic response. So in other words, if the temple is destroyed, you have no religion any longer. That's God's place. That's his dwelling.
Well, the Advent song, like "Oh Come Emmanuel," it's a Christmas song. It's always viewed as a Christmas song. And I think from a Jewish perspective, the idea of the birth of the Messiah having any like major relevance behind just other than the fact that he's coming. In other words, there's no great vision for humanity. It's not important to the. It's great that he's there, but he has to grow up. The importance of the Messiah for mainstream Judaism that doesn't believe in Christianity is that this Messiah is going to come in and he's going to lift up the Jews again, his chosen people, and they're going to overcome everything first. And that's the vision. So I think this idea of an importance of his birth is like, why celebrate the birth of the Messiah? Let's celebrate what the Messiah is going to do, and he's going to make us conquerors again.
But the idea is the Messiah is coming, and the Messiah, God's intent is to show us, and we can see it when we take a look at the Old Testament, where Jesus shows up in the Old Testament again and again. The Messiah is actually God coming to dwell with us, and he doesn't leave. Jesus
I'm just talking Christian, the Jewish perspective, and it pains me because I didn't give it much thought because I wasn't very religious before I became religious as a Christian.
And the other, God intended for the whole world to know him. And so that's the whole story of the Old Testament. You are going to be blessed to be a blessing so that all nations will bless, on your holy name.
And that's the promise of the Messiah. So that's why we should celebrate the birth. It's so much because God...
He broke through.
Yeah. And instead
and he settled with us, And so, but the thing is because of the destruction of the temple in particular, we have to realize there would be no Judaism, but they kind of reframe Judaism to have the rabbinic Judaism, which means it's the word now, it's the law that has become central to being Jewish instead of the temple, because there is no temple. Right?
Yeah, talk about that a little bit, because wasn't that the temple in Sepphoris that we went to? Wasn't that kind of the reinstitution of the?
No, that's where they lived. The scholars lived there. Yes, the scholars lived in Sepphoris, and so they reframed the whole kind of like the structure, the organization of the Jewish people. In order to continue, because they wouldn't if you're worshiping God and all that, and they've destroyed, and your temple is God coming to us. This is God's dwelling, and you just destroyed it. Well, then you're lost. It's either so they split. So Judaism split. Let's just put it that way. It split. It went rabbinic Judaism went that way. Christianity went that way. So they were. So yes, we are. We are from the same branch, that branch of, the branch of Jesse and all that. And so the thing for us to recognize as Christians, it's to recognize that we can't really understand Jesus unless we understand the Old Testament and Judaism. That's where it's coming out of. And but like you said, they're expecting, people in those days were expecting the Messiah to come and destroy the Romans and rule. And then rule, but rule the peoples of the world, okay? And so they don't have the same...
And then we'll slowly bring everyone else in, but it's really for us, Jews. It's just for...
See, Judaism, Orthodox Judaism doesn't have a concept of heaven and hell. In other words, the way Christians do. We say, we're teaching what Jesus taught, and that is you need to come to God through him, through Jesus. And then you get to... Heaven and earth are going to become one. You get to live with him forever. Well, in Orthodox Judaism, it's probably, if people actually realize it, it'd be more popular in our culture because it's like universalism. It says, not universalism, excuse me. If you're a righteous non-Jew, and you live in, you don't have to, it's not the whole law and everything, but, if you are a righteous non-Jew, you could still be in paradise. See the difference there?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really an interesting, I mean, people have gone into this in great depth. But the thing for me, just from a casual looking at this, I mean, I've gone into it in depth, but just casually, right? This is why you don't have a lot of evangelism. You don't have Jews evangelizing people. The way that you get more Jews generally is through marriage. I mean, either birth of your own kids or non-Jews getting married to Jews, becoming Jewish and getting married. Okay, there isn't a big evangelism. You don't have a lot of Jews doing evangelism. Now, some of the the real strict, like the Hasids and all, they do evangelism, but it's evangelizing their own people, saying, yeah, you're not a
Yeah,
real
trying to
Jew.
bring people back from Christianity, especially.
All that kind of stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
But they're not
counter-missionaries.
evangelizing. There is no evangel. This is why you don't have that many Jewish people in the world. I mean, they survived. The Jewish culture has survived for millennials, right? But there's not this evangelism push. Whereas Christianity, the whole idea of being a Christian is to share Christ and to share the gospel.
And that's the thing. It's
a
an
big
embracing. It's an embracing of their uniqueness and wanting to keep that at the expense of God's will to bring the world into the fold.
Yeah,
It's a
Which,
perfect
that's-
reflection
yeah.
of pride and selfishness, and it's about me, and I want to have special privileges, and I don't want to share.
Well, I mean, that
There's
was
a little bit of that. Not to somebody.
Well,
might
I
say
mean,
as
that was
being
the Old. That's the Old Testament.
anti-Semitic, I guess.
No, but it's the Old Testament, though, right?
Exactly. It's Old
I mean,
Testament
God said
view.
from Abraham on, He said, he says, I will make of you a great nation, and you will bless, and through you all nations will be blessed.
Yeah,
and
be
then
a
you
light
look at
on a
Isaiah.
hill, shining light.
You look at Isaiah saying, everybody's going to come together in the mountain someday. And Jeremiah, same thing, everybody. But that didn't happen. I mean, this is why Christ came. I mean, this is part of God's plan. I mean,
But
it's
that's what
always
they would
been His
do
plan.
around the temple, around the Sukkot. They would take torches and they would light the walls of Jerusalem for people to see. We're the shining light on the hill to the Gentiles, so that the Gentiles would be able to see the light emanating from the
Right.
beautiful city of Jerusalem. And yet that was done, as we realize, not by everybody, but as a source of their Israeli pride, as opposed to, we can't wait until the world becomes one through the
Yeah.
coming Messiah. And it's a shame. They just have to. I saw a great group, and I can't remember their name. And if somebody wants the link, I can show it. I use them all the time. But they interview people in full Hasid gear in Jerusalem who barely speak English, right? And they'll just start reading Isaiah 53 to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, where's that come from? New Testament, Old Testament. They go, New Testament, obviously. It's talking about Jesus. And then you go, it's Isaiah.
Yeah.
And their jaws drop because it's not really taught.
Right. Traditionally, it's not that big of a teaching in the
And
in
yet the
Judaism.
teaching of the Messiah is there. It's very
I know.
clear.
Yeah.
Messiah is coming, just not yet. It was Rabbi Lebovich, or whatever his name is. That's the posters we saw all over Israel.
Lubavitcher. Yeah.
Well, he's dead. He didn't come back, and he didn't do nothing.
The Reb.
The Reb. It's interesting. Well, thank you for that. Go pick up your lovely wife. I thought that was
All right.
really good. Any ideas on a next song that you'd want to do? Maybe next Monday, right before, because we're getting real close to Christmas.
Yeah,
now,
that's
so
close to Christmas. I
it'll
mean,
be the
well,
one-
I mean, obviously, okay.
we don't have to do any, but
Yeah, there's some cool things. I mean, there's some cool songs that, I mean, obviously, probably people.
Silent Night.
Well, they're probably familiar with that story. If they're not, yeah, we could do. Are you familiar with the story of Silent Night?
No,
All right, well then we're doing Silent Night.
that's actually a perfect one.
Okay.
So we're
and by the way, "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." That was composed by a guy who's come out of Judaism, but he's a Christian, and his name was Felix Mendelssohn. And his grandfather, Moses Mendelssohn, is the greatest thinker probably in one of the greatest philosophers in Judaism. He would be lifted up high for Judaism, for just like the lifting up. Who are the greatest thinkers? Well, Moses Mendelssohn was one of the greatest philosophers. He's like 1600s, I think, and so his grandson was a Christian. He wasn't ever Jewish. His dad and mom were Jewish, but they didn't really practice Judaism. So his grandson actually got baptized and became a Christian early on. And so we sing, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. We sing a song that was composed. It's not the words. I think he composed the tune, the melody, whatever you call that. What is that called? What is that called technically?
You can say the melody.
Okay, so he composed the melody for that song. And his grandfather is one of the most famous Jewish people for centuries. Isn't that interesting?
I could say tune too. You're not saying something out of turn or like a.
But I just think that's fascinating that he, and okay. And
It is. Well, we probably should do that one too.
Let's do that one too.
So
and then we'll end on this.
We can do Hark the Herald and then end on Silent Night.
We'll end
that's
on
all
this.
we'll talk about.
Okay. We'll end on the. Yeah. I can't make fun of things anymore. Okay.
Oh, you totally can.
Okay. But we're going to end on this. We'll end on this. My mom and dad were friends with a guy by the name of Harold Angel. And as a kid, it was so cool because every year I couldn't wait till they sent a Christmas card. Because every Christmas card that these people would send had some variation of, Hark, the Herald Angels Sing. That's a true story. So the guy's name was Harold Angel. Isn't that funny?
The Herald Angels.
That just brought back nostalgia in my mind when I was thinking
funny.
about that.
Yeah,
Hark,
somebody,
the Herald Angels.
Illuminati said he thought it was Charles Wesley that wrote the words probably of Hark the Herald Angels.
Yeah, I can look that up real quick.
Probably.
Yeah. Let's see.
But it was Felix Mendelssohn.
Mendelssohn.
Who wrote the music. So Pastor Dana was talking about the music itself.
Or
Felix Mendelssohn was a German composer. Achtung.
Achtung.
What is Felix Mendelssohn's most famous piece? It says the overture and incidental music for A Midsummer Night's Dream.
There you go.
Doesn't say
Yeah, Wesley. The lyrics, Wesley and Whitfield.
So it's probably just an instrumental. Yeah, it's listed on here as his composition.
The tune is, and Wesley and Whitfield were amazing. Whitfield was a great preacher. Wesley, great preacher and teacher. That's where Methodism came out of. But the tune is Mendelssohn.
Very good. All right, thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Ian Monk, for being here. Illuminati Land.
All right, that's fun.
And Ace, I saw Ace Theo Bond, you too. So, any final thoughts or a benediction?
No.
Here
Yeah,
as we go to Christmas?
I want to just talk to me after. I gotta give you some news about one of our mutual friends.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, not online. All right.
No, I don't want to do it. Well, no, he had a serious health thing, so I want to talk about it.
Okay. So, on that note, God bless you all, everybody. May the Lord bless you and keep you. His face shine upon you and be gracious to you and turn his face towards you all and give you the peace that surpasses all understanding in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen. Hey, not bad. Trying out. It's like, that was 3DM in action right there.
There you go.
God bless you all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. With Monday, let's do, like we said, we'll do Hark the Herald. We can talk a little bit about that. And then Silent Night.
Yeah,
and we won't do any discussion about Advent, so that should fit the hour.
Yeah, that would be great.
So we'll play two songs. And
Okay.
that'll close us out for Christmas. All right. God bless you all. See you later.